and you can do this. If I did it, you can do it. Sorry, I didn't expect to get this emotional, but just know that we love you. We haven't met any of you, but we're doing this because we love you. Friends, tonight I'm going to share something very personal with you guys that I don't often talk about much on camera. This experience really messed me up as a kid, but then it ended up shaping my life. It also led to me reaching for food as medication, using food to cope, which then led to me gaining so much weight that I reached my heaviest of 275 pounds. Most people, when they look at someone heavy, they think, oh, that person just eats too much. They need to stop. And I was told that so many times, like, Nicole, why don't you just stop eating? Just eat less. The problem was, yes, they were right. I was eating too much. However, it went way deeper than that. It was about control. It was not about the food. The food was just my medication. When I was really young, my parents divorced. I was 1.5, don't remember anything. I don't remember ever living with my parents where they were together. My dad was in and out of my life. He made a lot of not the best choices. He was never consistent. Anytime I was supposed to see him every other weekend, he was supposed to come and pick me up. Most of the time, I never knew if he was gonna show up, or if he was gonna be late, or if he was just gonna go drop me off at my Nona's. Most of the time, I would end up being at my Nona's and he would go out, be out partying all night, be out with his girlfriend or whatever, and I would end up staying with my Nona, and then he'd come back really late or the next morning, and most of my weekend was never with him. I had no control over that situation. I never felt important to my dad. I felt, I was going back and forth between houses. Also, my dad's side is very Italian, and Italians love food. Life is food. So both households that I was going back and forth to had very different ideas of what food was supposed to be like. At one house, everything was portioned. You could eat whatever you wanted, but it was portioned. And at the other house, it was, you need to eat. Manja, eat. Why aren't you eating? Eat more, you need to eat. I was really young and I was getting two different ideas of what you were supposed to do with food. I know that both families were doing the best they could. They loved me as best as they could. They tried to give me guidelines around food as best as they could. This is not blaming anybody. This was just about me not really knowing, not having any control, not knowing when my dad was coming or going, or if he cared about me or what. All of that stuff led to me not knowing what to do. As a little girl, I didn't understand anything. I just knew that things weren't right. I didn't have control. And I saw that food was very important to people. So I ended up sort of being drawn to food, and I realized as a little girl, in my own little girl way, I could use food to get what I needed, to control. Not realizing as a little girl that there is no such thing as control. But I realized I could have power over food. I could use it when I wanted. I could eat a lot, maybe get in trouble for eating too much, or not eat and get in trouble for not eating, or get attention for it. I remember this one story when I was little. I was at daycare. I was a picky eater. I often would say, oh, I don't like that, or I wouldn't try something. I was always controlling food, no matter where I was. I would pretend to eat something for dinner, and then I would stuff it in a napkin when no one was looking. It was always about trying to control stuff. And the food was the only thing I could use. So at daycare, they were having eggs. And at the time, I didn't like eggs. Well, they told me I could have no dessert until I ate all my eggs. Well, being Italian, I am stubborn. I don't know how old I was, 4 or 5 maybe. I sat at that little table in that little chair for what felt like hours with the eggs in front of me, refusing to eat it. They said, Nicole, you're not gonna have any dessert. I sat there, I watched all the kids playing. I don't know how long it actually was. It felt very long to a little girl. And finally, I watched all of the daycare workers look at each other and I broke them. They came to me and they said, okay, you don't have to eat your eggs and you get half your Jell-O. It was orange Jell-O, and I remember because I did not know that that was going to be the outcome. I just knew I was not eating something. I said, no, I don't want it, so I'm not eating it. And it was that moment, I think, that I really realized how much power I could hold by using food for control. That young is when it started to spin out of control. And I would overeat it, undereat it, sneak it, hide it, and it was all just about trying to work through the trauma, but I was too young. So I used the food, like I said, like medicine. I wanted to share this story because I know there's a lot of you out there that might have similar stories growing up, or that might just share in the using food for control. And I know a lot of people who, you know, they judged me because of how overweight I was. And they thought that it was just because I ate too much. In reality, I didn't even taste the food. It wasn't about, yes, I love food. I do. But it wasn't about that. I didn't taste the food. I didn't enjoy it. I ate things I didn't like. I just ate and ate and ate. And because it wasn't about the food, I was never satisfied, because what I was trying to eat was control. I was trying to take control over my life. There's no such thing as control. I realize that now. Once I lost the 130 pounds and I started dealing with the stuff underneath, I realized it started young. Through no fault of anyone, it just happened that as a smart, stubborn little girl, I realized that food was something I could use to try to help me cope with the things that were going on around me. And I just want to let you know that if you're someone who struggles with that, if you're someone who uses food to control things or to deal with emotions, that you're not alone. And that really threw me off as a kid. But I don't blame anyone. I would never take it back, because if I hadn't have struggled with that, if I hadn't gone through, you know, the unknowns about my dad, if I had not gone through the 2 different houses with different food rules, I wouldn't have gained the weight, I wouldn't have struggled, and I wouldn't be able to stand here and talk to you today and possibly help people that are struggling the way I struggled. And I wouldn't take any of that back, because this is why we're on YouTube. This is why we make the videos for you. And by we, it's my Kylie Nunny Bear behind the camera that helps me film these videos so that I can get them out to you. I want you to know that it's okay. Everything is okay. Everyone uses something different to cope. Mine was food. I have since worked through it, and I didn't think it was possible. And I want to stand here right now and tell you, no matter how deep it is, no matter how much you're struggling, I get it. I really do. I thought that I was controlling food and controlling my life because I controlled food. In reality, it controlled me. If I ate it, I would go like, I don't even know the word, but I would be like immune to the world. That's not the right word, but it would be me and the food, and I would go kind of unconscious and trying to fix myself with food. It controlled me. There is no such thing as control. You might use food or something else for control, but in the end, it controls you. And I'm saying, I realized that, and I took back the control. Now I use food to fuel myself. I eat things that I love. I allow myself to eat the food. I don't tell myself, no, you can't have that. Oh, you're bad for eating that. Oh, you need to sneak this. I'm very honest and open. If I'm struggling with something, I don't let it control me anymore. And I want to tell you, anyone watching that's struggling, whether it's with food or with anything else that you're using to cope with something, I want to tell you that everything's okay and that you can beat this. You can get through it. You are worth so much more than you think. You deserve to love your life and not have other things control you. You get to make the decisions. You can love food. You can allow yourself to eat the food. You don't have to tell yourself no or that you're bad. You get to determine where your life goes and what you do with it. Food doesn't get to control you. And it doesn't control me anymore. And I just wanted to share that with you. It's not very often that I ever talk about or open up about my dad, but I needed to share it with you because I know how much it hurts to struggle, and I wanted to let you know that you're not alone. You can get through it, and we're here. We're always thinking of you guys. It's why we make these videos. And just know, even though we can't be physically there with you, we're there with you in spirit, and we're always cheering you on. And you can do this. If I did it, you can do it. Sorry, I didn't expect to get this emotional, but just know that we love you. We haven't met any of you, but we're doing this because we love you. And anything you're going through, we're there for you. So if you're struggling, you can leave it in the comments. We always read them. Just know you're not alone. We love you guys. And I hope this video helps you know that you deserve to live a life that you love and not let anything control you. So do the stuff, like the bells, Instagram at the Colette's, and now we do the teary-eyed frog. Thanks for watching, guys. We love you. Peace. Colette's out. Remember, the friends, that weight loss isn't just about the number on the scale. It's also about here and here. Heart and mindset. Fight through it. You can do it. Don't give up.